call the May 20th, 2019 meeting of Mayor and City Council of the City of Lincoln Park to order. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, which will be immediately followed by the invocation by Reverend Bill Clark of New Testament Tabernacle. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's bow our hearts in prayer, shall we? Our dear gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we come into your presence this evening filled with thanksgiving and joy and thankfulness for all that you've done for us and what you're doing even currently going forward. Tonight, Lord, I want to thank you for all who serve the citizens of Lincoln Park. I thank you for our mayor, our city council, all departments of Lincoln Park. I pray a blessing and protection upon our police officers, our firefighters, and our emergency personnel. I thank you for each one. This evening, Lord, I want to lift up the family of PFC Michael Thomason, one of our own Lincoln Parkers, volunteered to serve his country, who lost his life in Syria, recently laid to rest. Dear God, we thank you for him and his service, and we ask for his family your comfort and blessing upon them. Father, I pray your blessing on this meeting tonight. I pray that everything would be done decently and in order and according to your perfect will. In closing, Lord, for all the citizens of Lincoln Park, I ask, Lord, that you may bless and protect us. I ask, Lord, that you would smile on us and be gracious to us. I ask, Lord, that you show us your favor and give us your peace. I pray all of this in the mighty name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. We appreciate that greatly. If I could have roll call, please.
Councilpersons Breeding.
Present.
Higgins.
Here.
Kelsey.
Here.
Parkinson.
Here.
Ross. Here. Salcido. And Mayor Carnes.
Here. To the microphone. All right. Give it a second. There you go. We have a very special presentation at this moment. Connor, I was going to have you come up, but I think I'm going to come down around where you're at, if that's all right. At the parade yesterday, this young man was our Grand Marshal and for the Memorial Day Parade. 92 years young. He is which branch of the service, Connor?
Navy, U.S. Navy.
What ship did you serve on?
I was on USS Boxer. I flew off a carrier. I was a combat air crew. I went in 44, released in 46, discharged in 50.
Oh, in 1950. Well, when we saw you at the ceremony at the parade yesterday, I was just overwhelmed, really, with your career and everything you've done. I have a little personal memento. That's a challenge coin that has the city seal on it, so I'd like you to have that.
Thank you.
And I have also, from all of us on council, a proclamation. Whereas Connor Coleman, a World War II veteran, entered into the U.S. Naval Air Corps in 1944 at the age of 17 and served until 1950. Well, we got that covered already, didn't we? And whereas Connor has been an active member and officer of both VFW and American Legion for many years. And whereas after returning home from his military service, Connor joined the American Legion and served as post chaplain in 1958. And whereas Connor Coleman also joined and served as post commander with the VFW from 1998, post chaplain, with the VFW from 1998 until 2018. So, wow. And now therefore be resolved that I, Mayor Thomas Carnes, along with the City Council and the citizens of Lincoln Park, thank Coleman for his service to his country and for many years of service at the VFW and the American Legion.
Thank you very much, sir.
Very good.
Would you like to say anything additional?
I would like to thank the City of Lincoln Park, The parade that we had was very successful, in my opinion. I'd like to thank the city and the workers of the city who helped do that, along with the fire and the police department, and the city council and yourself who made that entirely possible. So thank you very much, gentlemen, ladies.
Now, Connor, if you can manage that step, I know that there are 7 people up there that would also like to extend their appreciation and thank and shake your hand.
Thank you. Yes, we can do that.
Okay, let's do it then.
Yeah.
I don't do too good when I got both knees.
Well, that's all right.
That's great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Met you back.
For all your
That's all right, thank you. You're the one that did everything.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
Good night.
See you from
Your stroke.
John?
Ladies and gentlemen, if we could, one more time, show appreciation for Connor.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John, tell him there's stairs over there.
Well, that was neat. I'd take this time to say Happy Memorial Day to everyone, and thank you in particular to all those that have served our country in the military. We appreciate that and are thankful for you guys every day. If you have some time during the course of this weekend, if you're going to be in town or afterwards, please stop by the War Memorial, which is in front of the band shell there on Fort Street between Merrill and London, and read the 130 names that are inscribed there. If you remember that each of those people, young men, in this case, all left a resident in Lincoln Park with families behind and then did not return home after their service. It is the ultimate sacrifice that they paid so that we may end up living free. And at some point in the near future, PFC Michael Thomason will be added to that list. Okay, and at the parade, we thank the hands of the city. Chris Starzinski, I think, Councilman Higgins, all had a part to play with that, along with the committee that put it together. The weather held off.
Lillian, too.
What's that?
Councilman
Oh,
Lilly.
and Lillian too, all. And the weather, the rain held off for us long enough to get it in. At the end, there was a nice ceremony that was put together by the American Legion and the VFW, the Memorial Day service that they hold. They also hold another one for Pearl Harbor. So that's in the first week of December. So please pay attention and do that. There's also the time that the decision was made to honor really one of our American heroes in John Dingell, and changing the name of the Memorial Day to the John Dingell Parade. John Dingell Memorial Day Parade. I'll get it right one of these days. And for that event, we invited Congresswoman Debbie Dingell to appear and to accept a couple tokens of our esteem for everything that her husband has done for us and for the community and for the country. And since he was a tireless worker for the United States and for the state of Michigan and for us, it was deemed that appropriate if we were to provide her with a flag, a U.S. flag that had flown over the United States Capitol, over the Capitol building, a state flag that had flown over our state capitol, and of course, a City of Lincoln Park flag that that was erected and flew at our Fort and Southfield intersection there. That presentation was made. There were two flags that were presented at that particular time. Why two? Well, one so that she could take home, and then the other, which is this one, I think that they can. We're going to test you, Don, see if you can get a good shot of this. Yep, there you go.
Kerry has been that high before.
That's a very good shot of it. And what the inscription is honor of United States Congressman John Dingell for his service to our country and our community, May 19, 2019, Lincoln Park, Michigan. Now, Debbie Dingell, Congresswoman Dingell, I'm sorry, said that this one should go in the Lincoln Park Historical Museum as a commemorative of this event that day. And I just say that the state flag was presented by Cara Clemente, too, our state representative that was there. Again, Councilman Higgins, Councilman Kelsey, Councilwoman Ross were all there. I know that Councilman Parkinson was in the parade also, and as well as Council President Breeding, who presented the city flag to Mrs. Dingell. It was quite an event. We did have one little mishap with that. The JROTC from the high school was performing honor guard duties for us, and it was a little warm. They would go every 10 minutes. They would switch, and in the process, one of the young ladies on the team passed out and fell forward face down on the cement. So we had quite a scare for a little bit, but I'm happy to report that I saw the young lady this morning, and she has quite a little bandage on her nose, but other than that, she is doing excellent. So all in all, it was quite an event. It was a nice parade, and I want to thank the Exchange Club who has put the flags out on the in front of the War Memorial. Mike Horvath is the architect of that, and he takes that to heart and does it and takes it down every year with. There you go. Alrighty then. And it will be up through Monday, I believe, right? Yeah, through Tuesday. Okay. Now, at this point, I'm going to call Chief Martin up for a flood update, what's going on. I did understand and hear that there was, in speaking with a representative of the Red Cross today, that if you had made a claim and you had suffered some loss of a mattress or a mattress set, that there may be some that would be available for them. So if you would contact the Red Cross, or we'll put that information on our website, and you'll be able to do that and get that back. So, Chief?
Thank you. Good evening. Since we met last time, we spoke about the multi-agency resource centers, or the MARCs. We held two of those here in the city on May 8th and 9th, as well as in Dearborn Heights. We had a few hundred people come through. They had numerous resources for the people who had some flooding in their basement. They had representatives from Wayne County, the Red Cross, Samaritan's Purse, which was a volunteer organization for low or no income people. They would come and help clean their basements up. I believe Billy Graham had some people there for spiritual guidance for people who needed it. That was a pretty big success. A lot more people came through than I think we were maybe even expecting. They had muck out kits there to help clean up some of the flooding in the basements, which we gave away just about everything that we had. We actually still have a few at the fire station. I don't know if there's any left here in City Hall. Also, DPS drove around, took pictures of all the bridges in the city. There were some concerns with any structural issues after all the flooding and the backup of debris. Those have been forwarded to the county. We're waiting on word back for the next steps for that, whether they're going to send somebody out, engineers, to look at those. We also had the Michigan State Police, Department of Homeland Security come out and do their own damage assessment. They called us and they wanted to see like 20 or 30 or so of the worst houses that had the most flooding. So we tried to use our damage assessment reports to do that. And we definitely hit the area over on Monty and Austin, which was surrounded by water, as well as some other areas that we felt were hit pretty bad. They were basically asking, how much water they got in their basement. Was there any structural damage, cracking of the walls or the foundations? If water came up to the electrical outlets, these were what they were looking for as considered significant damage, which luckily we didn't have too much of that. So that will go to FEMA. Those reports will be collected and go to FEMA, and then we will wait further word, whether that goes to the president next. And that's about it we had as far as the update from the flooding.
Okay, Chief, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Tomorrow, which will be Tuesday, the 21st, 2019, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., there will be the Lincoln Park Police Department blood drive. There is a change in this year that is at the band shell at 3240 Ferris Avenue, 3240 Ferris. Now, by my reckoning of this has to be the 25th consecutive year that the police department has had at least one blood drive, if not two. It used to be bracketed between Memorial Day and Labor Day. Probably still is. But this is a tremendous, really, partnership between the Lincoln Park Police Department and the Red Cross. To have this, particularly when you're coming into one of the most highly traveled weekends, and the more people you have traveling, unfortunately, the more accidents you have. And the more accidents, they need to have this blood on hand. And so what they really do here is really fantastic, in my opinion. And thinking about and saying about fantastic things that our police department has done, I was honored to attend the 2019 luncheon at the Detroit Wayne Mental Health Authority that was held at the Sheraton in Dearborn, at which point there were several officers that were honored as Narcan heroes. And what the Narcan drug does, medication, as you're aware, that our officers have been trained to, if they come across somebody that they believe is in an opioid overdose situation, that they can administer this device through like a nasal spray, and it revives the people and gives them enough time to get them to the hospital for further treatment. It is nothing less than a miracle that this works. As our fire department has, the people in the rescue will use that also. But with the police department, when this became available, Chief Waters, Deputy Chief Levis, and Deputy Chief Klokovich have really embraced this and went out of their way to make sure that all officers were trained and all were given the equipment. And not only were they move forward where there were 28 saves of lives in this, using this item, but there were 2 officers that also had to use this when there was an accidental exposure through the skin through an opioid. So it really is quite remarkable. Now, the officers that were recognized at this were Officer Kehi Dranko for 4 uses of the Narcan, Officer David Belknap with 3 uses of it, Officer Catherine Dranko with 3, Officer Ethan Iser with 3 also, Sergeant Patrick Coulter with 2, Officer Anthony Arborg with 2, Officer Eric Harris with 2, Officer Anthony Cusper with 2, Officer Christopher Stafford with 2, Officer Thomas Blaylock, Officer Kay Durker, Officer Kevin Catula, Officer Alejandro Cerna, and Officer Raul Villarreal, which is really, really amazing. So, and then the very next day, Sergeant Ryan Hammerly represented the police department at the 4th Annual Opioid Abuse Summit, at which point for the police department of Lincoln Park was honored for the 28 saves. Now, the 28 saves that are listed are over and above, the next one down were several below, so they were the top in Wayne County. And so for their efforts, they were recognized at the 4th Annual Opioid Abuse Summit with the Colin Rose Award for Excellence in Saving Lives. Now, Colin Rose was an officer with, I think it was Wayne State, that was killed in the line of duty, and this is in his honor. So it is quite an accomplishment by the police department and by its leadership, represented by Deputy Chief Kolakovich here. And I just want to say that there are the families of 28 people out there that, I mean, are very appreciative, along with the 28 lives that were saved. So please join me in showing our appreciation. All right. Now, on Wednesday, May 29th, we have a time for community with emphasis on unity. And this will be at 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Band Shell, 3240 Ferris. And it's a time of prayer and opportunity to get familiar with resources available in Lincoln Park. Social service, health, civic organizations, and other types of services will be there to share what they offer. Come learn how you can help or be helped. And again, that's May 29th, Wednesday night, 6:30 to 8 p.m. And that's by the Lincoln Park Ministerial Association. Okay, we got. Now, this is some advance notice for you, because this next event is June 15th. But from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock on June 15th, and that is a Saturday, the Rotary Club will be having a pancake breakfast. Now, why I bring this up, I don't usually talk about Rotary. It pains me to talk about Rotary. But they are doing this pancake breakfast will benefit the Cops Care program and all the good things that they have done throughout the course of it. So this is an important fundraiser to go to. I understand tickets are $10?
10 and 5.
$10 and 5 for kids?
Under 11.
And kids under 11. 4 to 11, okay. But see any Rotarian for tickets. Yes, especially Giles Tucker, who needs to sell them. But they're really we just talked about all the good things that the police department are doing. This benefits them and allows them to continue to do what they're doing and do some special things for the kids. All right, and I don't see Jeff Day here, so we will touch on marijuana for a little while. Not literally, but I mean, we'll touch on it for a little bit. Now, last meeting, we voted on the first and second reading, basically to opt out of marijuana sales in town or marijuana businesses in town. And there will be another vote later on for the third and final reading. But regardless of how that turns out, there's going to be some things that are going to be looked at. Now, you mentioned that, or my statement, that I was not confident with how the state's laws had working, that we knew exactly what we were getting into. But we need to be cognizant also of what business opportunities there may be and what benefits for the city there may also be. So what I have thought and looked at and that we would take a look at is, first and foremost, is we had a survey put together. Now, the survey is out there. It is available. It's on our, what are the links? Is there a link on the city's website, sir?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Well, I know that it came out through the e-news of the city today. So I saw that it was there. If not available, it will be available soon on the city's website. And the purpose of this is to see how you feel about what type of businesses that marijuana entails, and whether you would be in favor of that or not in favor of it. And there's a process of, I think about 18 to 20 questions. Should only take you about 5-10 minutes, but we are interested in your feedback for a couple of reasons with this. Secondly, on that, I'm going to be hosting sort of an unofficial coffee with the mayor for you to hear about these. I have 2 locations established. I'm still working on the date. It's the Park Restaurant will be one, and Charlie's Restaurant on Dix would be the other. If there is anyone else out there that would like to host this event, and have me come and then have the residents come speak, I'd be willing to do that. Just give me a call here. And the third thing is to form a informational committee, the one that would make a recommendation to mayor and council in reference to the marijuana. In this case, it would be 2 members from the council, one who voted in favor of the opt-out, one who voted against. And with this headed by our Economic Development Director, Giles Tucker, with the purpose of looking into, again, the business effects or what could possibly develop and recommendations for what the zoning and everything else would be. Now, taking all this information and taking what the state would provide, they have a thing from the state that was released from the Attorney General today, which is the Attorney General, Nessel, is forming a marijuana legal work group, which are putting together their recommendation for what the rules are going to be. So the state is moving forward with this, and we should be in place with what all of our guidelines are going to be. And to that end, with the recommendation of our survey events, which the committee will also be reviewing, the survey events, the survey information, the information from the coffee talks, the recommendations of the committee, we'll review the opt-out situation again for marijuana at the beginning of the year. I have a marker for me to look in and call this back for the January 6, 2020, 2020 meeting. Now, we have decided currently, depending on what this next vote is, to opt out. And with the opting out, I think that I still think it's the right thing for us to do. I mean, if we opt in, then people would be moving in, and you can't go back from that decision. But it's my purpose in doing this to give time and give a review. Now, will this mean that we will be opting in on January 6, 2020? I don't know. That will come up, and that will be a decision of all of the council to make at that particular time. But what I am saying is that we're going to take a good look at what this could mean for the Lincoln Park pros and cons, and then we will come back and report that to you and report it to council. And with that is enough, I guess. And we will move on to the consent agenda. That's what we're talking about, right?
Is.
Resolved that the following items listed on the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and city council. 1, approve minutes, regular meeting held Tuesday, May 6, 2019. 2, accept minutes, study session held May 13, 2019, RE fiscal year 2019-20 budget. 3, solicit bids, IT services. 4, solicit bids, HVAC, building department and treasurer's office. 5, solicit bids, retention basin valves and actuators.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay, that is yours. First action item is resolved that a public hearing be scheduled for June 17, 2019 at 6:30 PM in the John A. Aloisi Council Chambers for the purpose of receiving public comment on the SAW Grant Sewer Study and the proposed sanitary sewer improvement program.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item, resolved that Thomas C. Cars, 957 LeBlanc, Lincoln Park, Michigan, 48146, is hereby appointed to the Economic Development Corporation, term to expire May 2025.
So moved.
Goodness gracious. All right, is there discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. The next item is resolved that Samuel J. Ekman, 1662 Lafayette, Lincoln Park, Michigan, 48146, is hereby appointed the Downtown Development Authority, term to expire April 1, 2023.
So moved.
Support?
In discussion on this, and I was remiss in not giving a bio for this young man, he is the son of the pastor of the church that is on Fort Street across from the post office, and has been actively involved in that, and for the last couple of years in things with the church and related to volunteering at Cinco de Mayo and such. He's very interested in what goes on in the downtown area, and that. Father of 3, I believe. Definitely nice man, anyway. Any further discussion?
Through the
Yes.
chair, just from now on, because we've had 2 of these now, 2 different situations, can we have the resumes in the packet? I mean,
sure.
I'm not, it just, I think, if I remember correctly, Councilman Murphy brought that up when we decided to do that now. That was kind of making it a lot, because when they apply, they make an application out there, and therefore it's part of we do it that way so that we have a little record, plus we have a little bio on them, but that's all.
Sure. We'll get packets, so. Further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Now, I had... Where is mine?
I don't know what you did with them here.
Good question. Looking for a specific item. That I, of course, don't have anymore.
Pass that down to Mayor. I'm sorry, that's,
You got this as the adjusted one?
yes.
He doesn't have the
No,
addresses in,
that's the
though.
No? Oh, sorry, that's what I was given, sorry.
Well, that's all right. We can do it. Oh, I got it. Here.
Wait a minute.
The brain doesn't go in gear from time to
This.
time.
Read
What's-
this, but
it's-
we're gonna,
It's this.
it's different.
What's that? Oh.
It is. We're just gonna fill in these things, the blanks.
All right, honest folks, we'll get it done here. And the first one,
1154 Cleveland.
all right. Whereas the hearing board on dangerous buildings has made a finding and determination that the structure located at 1154 Cleveland, and it's Dangerous Building Board Case 1905, is a dangerous building under Ordinance 1444, and issued its order that the structure be demolished immediately. And whereas pursuant to Chapter 144 of the Lincoln Park Municipal Code, the Hearing Board on Dangerous Buildings has filed a report of its finding and a copy of the order with the council, and has requested the council take the necessary, take the necessary actions to demolish the structure. Whereas the owners and other parties of interest have neglected to comply with said order, and the subject structure has not been made safe or demolished. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to sections 144.08 of the Lincoln Park Municipal Code, the council hereby establishes the date of June 3rd, 2019 at 7:30 PM or as soon thereafter as the ordinary order of council business shall permit, as the date and time for a hearing to review the findings and order of said hearing board, at which hearing the owners or parties of interest shall be given the opportunity to show cause why the building should not be demolished. The building superintendent is directed to give notice as required by ordinance to the owner or parties of interest of such hearing date.
So moved.
Support.
And Mayor, you could do a uniform acknowledgement of the following addresses so you don't reread the resolution 5 times. Indicate on the next resolution, the previous resolution inserting these dates so you don't have to bother reading the same.
Address.
Just give the address of the property. And the case number, they will publish them, so you don't have to go through every resolution subsequent to this.
All on one resolution?
There'll be separate resolutions, proper notice, but when you get to Resolution B, you only have to read the address and ask to affirm the same language as in the previous resolution. Council will pass it. You get to C and D. If that works for the clerk, works for me. It's just the notice that's required, but there's no requirement to read the entire language publicly. Still be
Gotcha.
publication. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Further discussion? Or did we have a mover and supporter?
We do.
Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. So we will, whereas the hearing board of dangerous buildings have made a finding and determination that the structure is located at, now we're doing them all,
1812 Euclid.
1812 Euclid, 1812 Euclid. Down, Dangerous Building Board, 1904 is a dangerous building under ordinance 144 and issued its order that the structure be demolished immediately.
So moved.
Discussion? Or at this point, we have the others?
No.
Now we'll go,
Same thing.
having a bad night. All right, discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Whereas the hearing board on dangerous buildings has made a finding and a determination that the structure located at 17755 Ford Boulevard, Lincoln Park, case Dangerous Building Board, DBB 1901, is a dangerous building under ordinance 144 of the Lincoln Park Municipal Code, under ordinance, and issued its order that the structure be demolished immediately.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Question, Your Honor?
Yes.
On this one, is the homeowner going to pay for this one too? Yes, okay. Always, okay.
It would depend on, Councilwoman, it would depend on who owns the property and who's the chain of title, and usually the city, if they can't get them to pay, they demolish it, then levy the cost against the property.
Gotcha, thank you.
Special assessment.
Okay, further discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Whereas the hearing board on dangerous buildings has made a finding and determination that the structure located at 1360 Monte or 1360 Monte, Lincoln Park, case number DBB 1909, is a dangerous building under ordinance 1444 and issued its order that the structure be demolished immediately.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Then whereas the hearing board on dangerous buildings has made a finding and determination that structure located at 1412 Morris, 1412 Morris, Lincoln Park, case dangerous building DBB 1801 is a dangerous building under ordinance 1444 and issued its order that the structure be demolished immediately.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Parkinson?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Or it may be cumbersome to go through this. It's a necessary evil in order to take care of business with starting the process of removing these potential blighted homes. All right, the next item has a cover letter from Carrie Kerr, our city clerk. A few years ago, the state mandated new election equipment and provided us with the equipment through a grant. We received one tabulator for each precinct, 2 tabulators for absentee counting boards. During the November 2018 election, the AV counting boards worked from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. to process almost 3,000 absentee ballots. 2018, the voters in Michigan approved Proposal 3, which changed several parts of the election laws. The most impactful change is that it allows for no reason absentee voting. Due to the passing of Proposal 3, we expect a large increase in future requests for absentee ballots. We had over 4,000 AV ballots for the 2016 presidential election, and we expect this number to increase significantly for November of 2020. And the clerk's office will need to purchase additional tabulators to handle that many ballots in a timely manner. No anticipated change to the 2018-19 election budget to make this purchase. Whereas Dominion Voting Systems has been selected from a list of state-approved vendors by Wayne County Clerk as the sole provider of election equipment countywide. Whereas the city clerk's office is in need of additional ICP tabulators to handle the anticipated volume of absentee ballots in future election cycles. Now therefore be it resolved that the city clerk be authorized to purchase 2 additional ICP tabulators from Dominion Voting Systems for a total price of $10,590. Funds to come from account number 101.192.983 election capital expenditures.
Support.
Discussion?
Can I ask, to the chair, why are we not going out for bid? Why,
Because this is the only place we can get them. They are the only provider that Wayne County allows. We have to use the same election equipment that the entire county uses. The state went out for bids and approved 3 companies statewide. The Wayne County clerk chose to go with Dominion as the countywide tabulation system. So we're kind of stuck getting our equipment from
The
them.
county clerk is the one who made this? Okay.
Right. And it did go out for bid. There were, like I said, 3 approved statewide. The county clerk chose to go with this particular company.
Okay, thank you.
All right, further discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Resolved that special event permit number 7 be approved for La Casa de Mai Padre to host an outdoor concert on May 26, 2019, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. at 999 Fort Street, Lincoln Park, Michigan. 1, the special event to cease at 11 p.m. per municipal code 666.04. 2, applicant shall be responsible for cleanup and all debris associated with event from surrounding properties, and application fee paid. I'll move on this.
Support.
In discussion, they have arranged for the police department to be there for security.
And they have paid the cost recovery fees.
And the
that were
cost recovery
anticipated.
for the officers. Thank you. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Carnes.
Yes.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
And Ross.
Yes.
Next item is resolved that special event permit number 8 be approved for McCafferty's Bar to hold their annual cruising downriver party at 4210 Fort Street, Lincoln Park, Michigan, on June 28, 29, and 30, 2019, from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. under the following conditions. 1, tent to be inspected by the fire department prior to use. 2, special event to cease at 11 p.m. per municipal code 666.04. 3, applicant shall be responsible for cleanup of all debris associated with event from surrounding properties. Fee paid and insurance filed, application fee paid.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay. I was looking for cover, but resolved that mayor and council hereby authorize the use of Youth Center Park for Spring Fling Carnival event sponsored by the city of Lincoln Park. Carnival event will be held May 30 to June 2nd, which is Thursday, Friday, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Youth Center Park. Be it resolved that cost recovery fees for the event shall be submitted by the departments after the event and shall be paid from the profits of this event. Further, be it resolved that the event shall comply with ordinance 666.04A2 noise. I'll move on this for discussion.
Support.
Now, we didn't have a cover letter, but we have someone in the audience who can provide us with more information and how we come across this.
I'm Maureen Tobin, the event coordinator for the city. Elliott Carnival's contacted me with a proposal to hold this carnival because they have an off week, and they are pretty self-sustained as far as carnivals go. They put up their own fencing, they take care of their own trash. They've agreed to pay the deposit for the water meters of $10,000, $5,000 each. Debbie Elliott is here from Elliott Carnivals, if you have any questions for her. As I has understood that this went through the departments, I was told about the water. I haven't told about any other cost involved. Debbie has assured me that we don't really need DPS to come out and do anything at this point because they basically take care of absolutely anything that might come up.
The cost that she is referring to, Elliott Carnival will put a $5,000 deposit on each of the 2 water meters, total of $10,000. The check will be cashed and water bill will be removed from deposit in a timely manner and returned to Elliott Carnival.
Yes, sir.
And agrees to pay half the recovery cost for the use of the Lincoln Park Police Department costs.
Yes.
Understands and accepts that if there is any cost to the Lincoln Park Department of Public Service, they will be billed after the event. But before we bring the owner of the event up, the proceeds for this event will be distributed out.
They'll be used for the future summer concert series and kids programs. So they'll go into the donation and fundraising account. And there's a guarantee of $8,000 for the 4 days and a $50 concession fee for each concession at the carnival.
I was speaking with the city manager earlier and thought that since there's a possibility, it's being at Youth Center Park, that a portion of the proceeds could also go to amenities at the park.
Sure.
Whether there are repairs that needed to be made or something.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are you looking to have this more than 1 year if this works? or-
I would like to have it more than 1 year. I know I discussed with Debbie that we might be able to tie it in with the Memorial Day Parade next year. So there's something to do after the parade. It's up to her availability. It does stay on the contract that she can't guarantee it, but we can try real hard to work something out with her.
Depending on if
If this is a success and everything goes smoothly.
okay, it's Debbie, you said?
Debbie Elliott, yes.
Ms. Elliott, would you just briefly give us a little thing of what you plan to do?
Okay, I'm from Michigan. We're from Mason, Michigan. We're a local carnival. We don't leave the state. I was disappointed by a location that we thought we had booked, and they left us hanging. So I contacted Maureen, and we're trying to get this put together. We will provide the porta-johns, the dumpster. We have our own security. We have our own fence. I can answer any questions that you might have.
We appreciate you being here.
No problem.
Being here to answer any questions also.
Through
Is
the
there
chair?
Yes, sir.
What other cities in the downriver area have you put a carnival?
We are the carnival for the Southgate Heritage Days. We're also the carnival for the Taylor Summerfest, their big fireworks. That's us. We're the River Rouge Memorial Day, or not their Memorial Day. Rouge Days. Homecoming, Rouge Days. That's us. So also St. Linus, their church festival. Garden City, their St. Thomas the Apostle Church Festival. So we've been playing this area for years.
Okay, is there further discussion? Okay, then clerk call the roll.
Mayor Carnes?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ross?
Yes.
Breeding?
No, there's an ordinance against carnivals in the city of Lincoln Park, and until that's reviewed, I really don't feel comfortable voting yes. So I'm voting no.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
I guess I got a point of order. I guess I have to ask the chair, is there an ordinance against carnivals? Because if it is, I can't do that. And if it isn't, that's fine. Is somebody clarify that for me? Or, not clarify, but is that true or not?
It's been many
Under-
years since I read the ordinance, but it's still in the books.
Okay.
There is an ordinance on the books. I did read it when Maureen brought this into me, and it says, except for carnivals that are sponsored by the city.
I guess that's my point of order. Are we sponsoring that? We're not sponsoring this, are we?
Yes, this is a
Oh, we
city
are.
event, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I'll vote yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Okay, it passed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next item that we have is resolved that the mayor and council hereby authorize use of Memorial Park for the concert in the park event sponsored by the city of Lincoln Park. The music event will be held on June 28, 2019 from 4 p.m. until 11 p.m. and June 29, 2019 from 3 p.m. until 11 p.m. at the Lincoln Park Bandshell Memorial Park. The event will include food vendors and bounce houses. Be it resolved that each peddler or vendor must submit the required permit fees as established by the Director of Parks and Recreation. Further, be it resolved that the event shall comply with Ordinance 666.04A2 noise.
So move. Support.
Okay, discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. All right. Next item is a resolution that will authorize the sale of city-owned lot. As you may recall, and this is a cover letter from Matthew Copler, our city manager. As you may recall, I spoke to you previously about a parcel of land that the city owned adjacent to 1423 Champaign that the owner believed to be a part of the property he acquired when he purchased 1423 Champaign in 2010. However, as he was preparing to sell the 1423 Champaign, this lot, through described in his deed, was in fact not owned by him. It appears in 1998, the subject lot was taken by the state of Michigan through foreclosure and given to the city of Lincoln Park. The owner at that time was not aware of this foreclosure and assumed they still maintained ownership. That owner, a relative of the individual now wishing to take ownership of the parcel, conveyed to Mr. Jones what he believed were both parcels. Mr. Jones now wishes to sell the property and wants to clear up this confusing situation. The previous owner and now Mr. Jones had maintained the parcel and in fact has part of the land enclosed within a fence. So whereas the city of Lincoln Park owns a lot it received from the state of Michigan in 1998, located on Champaign described as follows. Parcel number 45 01399002000JA, that part of Lot 11, McDonald Tract, PC 48, described as beginning at the northeast corner of Lot 292 of Lincolnshire Sub Number 1 as part of Lot 11 of McDonald Tract, PC 48, and proceed south 25D 45M west along the LE line of said lot, 100 feet south 64D 115M E 50 feet THN 25D 45 ME along the Wiley line of lot 291 and said sub 100 feet through N64D 15 MW be west, along the Sly Line of Champaign Road, 50 feet to the POB, .11 acre. Whereas the aforementioned lot is adjacent to 1423 Champaign, a property owned by Mr. Dustin Jones, and whereas Mr. Jones now wishes to sell 1423 Champaign and believed, based upon the past sale to him, that the parcel described above was part of his property acquired in 2010. Whereas the mayor and council wish to transfer the lot described above to Mr. Dustin Jones. Now therefore be resolved that mayor and council approve the transfer of the parcel of land located on Champaign and described as
Previously read.
previously led. Thank you. For $1 to Mr. Dustin Jones, and be it further resolved, the mayor and city clerk are authorized to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city of Lincoln Park.
Support.
Discussion?
Yeah, question. Do we have somebody look at this from the legal, make sure that we're okay with all this? Okay, well, that answers my question.
Very good. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Breeding? Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Then a resolution authorized the sale of a city-owned lot to HP Snap, and this cover letter is from our city manager also. City of Lincoln Park acquired 622 Cleophas through the first right of refusal for tax foreclosed properties from Wayne County in 2018. As part of the city's tax foreclosed property sale program, sold to HP Snap Downriver LLC this parcel to be refurbished and sold. As part of the due diligence prior to the resale of 622 Cleophas, it was discovered that the parcel the garage is built on was not the same lot as the house. In fact, the garage is on Lot 56, tax ID number 45008030055000, which is owned by the city of Lincoln Park. The city acquired this parcel in 2017 from Wayne County because of the city's second right of refusal in the tax foreclosed process. HP Snap Downriver LLC have accepted an offer on this home and are hoping to close in the very near future. So, whereas the city of Lincoln Park owns the lot that the city received as part of the second right of refusal in 2017, located on Cleophas, described as follows. Parcel number 8245008030055000, legal description, FC 55, Lot 55, Suburban Park Sub, PC 85, 92L29 P46 WCR. Whereas the aforementioned lot is adjacent to 62 Cleophas, a property owned by HP Snap Downriver LLC, with 662 Cleophas being acquired from the city of Lincoln Park as part of the 2018 tax reverted property sale. And whereas HP Snap Downriver LLC now wishes to sell 622 Cleophas as part of the requirements of the 2018 tax reverted property sale, but discovered the garage for 622 Cleophas is located on the city-owned parcel described above. And whereas the mayor and council wish to transfer the lot described above to HP Snap Downriver LLC so it can be combined to and sold with 622 Cleophas to fulfill the requirements of the 2018 tax reverted property sales agreement. Now therefore be it resolved that mayor and council approve the transfer of the parcel of land located on Cleophas and described as parcel number 824500803005500, legal description FC55 Lot 55, Suburban Park Sub PC 8592 L29 P46 WCR for $1 to HP Snap Downriver LLC. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk are authorized to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city of Lincoln Park.
So move.
Support.
Discussion?
I have the same question on this property, and I guess I got another question with it. The first question is, how did we not know this was our property when, I mean, I guess I'm confused. Was there, when the property was sold to the SNAP, I thought we had all that stuff when they acquired, when they started doing the rehab and all that, they kind of knew what the property was. Was that our mistake when we transferred it? We didn't check the deed or something, or? I guess that's the first question I got.
No, it's, well,
that before
yeah,
its time?
no,
Okay.
2018, so when we acquired that, we assumed that everything was on one parcel.
Okay, and nobody, until they double-checked it and found,
Right,
hold
before
on,
they
the whole,
did
we
the
own the
title
garage.
search, yeah.
And I'm sure the attorney is gonna say that we're okay with this, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
the reason is
All right.
there wasn't a survey done upon receipt of the parcel. Upon sale, you presume the two are attached because they seem to be attached. So this would, in theory, be a scrivener's error on the original sale, which is just a drafter's error. And there's no problem with the council review.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Breeding.
Yes.
Kelsey.
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. All right. Resolved that an ordinance to amend the municipal code of the city of Lincoln Park by repealing section 1482.07 and replacing it with a new section 1482.07 entitled Records of Violations, Notice to Correct, Certificate of Compliance be given its third and final reading and be adopted. The City of Lincoln Park ordains that the Lincoln Park Municipal Code be amended by repealing and replacing section .07 of chapter 1482 entitled Records of Violations, Notice to Correct, Certification of Compliance as follows. 1482.07, Records of Violations, Notice to Correct, Certificate of Compliance. A, if upon inspection of a rental dwelling and premise, any unit or any part thereof is found to be in violation of this chapter or any applicable building code, zoning regulation, or other code relating to the maintenance and condition of said property, such violation shall be recorded by the building department. Notice thereof by regular mail and/or email shall be given to the owner, agent, or representative as such appears in the registry. B, it shall be the property owner's responsibility to correct all life safety code violations within 10 days and to maintain such property in a safe and compliant manner at all times. All violations shall be corrected within 90 days. C, correction of maintenance violations which can be performed without obtaining a permit must be verified and documented by an inspector. This will be done without additional cost, provided that the owner corrects all violations and requests verification within the prescribed time. D, correction of violations which must be performed by an appropriate licensed or qualified person shall be done in compliance with the permit requirements specified in these codified ordinances. E, a certificate of compliance shall be issued by the code official of the building department for each rental dwelling where it is established that such dwelling or facility is in compliance with all of the code requirements applicable to existing structures or residential occupancies. A certificate of compliance shall be valid for 3 years. The 3-year period is calculated from the date of registration. F, every owner or responsible party shall be responsible for regulating the proper use and maintenance of their rental dwellings in Lincoln Park. They shall be responsible for monitoring conduct and activities of the occupants and ensuring that the rental dwellings do not constitute a public nuisance nor do illegal activities take place there.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? All right, hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey.
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Breeding.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Same with this.
Sorry.
Okay, next item. Whereas the mayor and city council wish to amend the city code to prohibit any and all marijuana establishments within the boundary of the city of Lincoln Park. Now therefore be it resolved that an ordinance to amend municipal code of the city of Lincoln Park by adding a new chapter 855 to Title II Business Regulations entitled Prohibition of Marijuana Establishments be given its third and final reading and be adopted. The City of Lincoln Park ordains that Title II of the codified ordinances of the City of Lincoln Park be and is hereby amended by adding a new Chapter 855 as follows. Chapter 855, Prohibition of Marijuana Establishments. 855.01 Intent. The Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act of 2018 is passed with the intent to adopt marijuana or marijuana as identified in proposed legislation policies that enable taxing, controlling, and legalizing marijuana similar to alcohol. The state legislature permits municipalities to completely prohibit or limit the number of marijuana establishments within its boundaries. It is the intent of this ordinance to prohibit any and all marijuana establishments within the geographic boundaries of the City of Lincoln Park pursuant to Section 6.1 of the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act of 2018 and to the fullest extent allowed by law. It is also the intent of this ordinance that all existing ordinances or parts of ordinance are to be interpreted as consistent with this ordinance and state law. Any ordinances or parts of ordinance in conflict with any of the provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed. Nothing in this ordinance results in any prohibitions otherwise allowed under the Michigan Regulation of Taxation of Marijuana Act as adopted, or the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act initiated Act 1 of 2008. MCI 333.26421 at SEC, and 855.0, yeah, it's close enough. 855.02 definitions. The following words, terms, and phrases shall have the meanings ascribed to them in this section as defined in Section 3 of the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act. Cultivate means to propagate, breed, grow, harvest, dry, cue, or separate parts of the marijuana plant by manual or mechanical means. Department means the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs as defined in Section 3 of the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act. Industrial hemp means a plant of the genus cannabis in any part of that plant, whether growing or not, with a delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol concentration that does not exceed 0.3 on a dry weight basis or per volume or weight of marijuana infused product, or the combined percent of delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol and tetrahydrocannabinolic acid in any part of the plant or the genus cannabis, regardless of the moisture content. Licensee means the person's holding a state license. Marijuana means the substance or material identified and defined as marijuana in Section 3 of the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act. It means all parts of the plants of the genus cannabis, growing or not, the seeds of the plant, the resin extracted from any part of the plant, and every compound, manufacture, salt, derivative, mixture, or preparation of the plant, or its seed or resin, including marijuana concentrate and marijuana-infused products. For the purpose of this act, marijuana does not include A, the mature stalks of the plant, fiber produced from the stalks, oil or cake made from the seeds of the plant, any other compound, manufacture, salt, derivative, mixture, or preparation of the mature stalks except the resin extracted from those stalks, fiber, oil, or cake, or sterilized seed of the plant that is incapable of germination. B, industrial hemp. Or C, any other ingredient combined with marijuana to prepare topical or oral administrations, food, drink, or other products. Marijuana establishment means a marijuana grower, marijuana safety compliance facility, marijuana processor, marijuana microbusiness, marijuana retailer, marijuana secure transporter, or any other type of marijuana-related business licensed by the department as defined in Section 3 of the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act. Marijuana grower means a person is licensed to cultivate marijuana and sell or otherwise transfer marijuana to marijuana establishments as defined in Section 3 of the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act. Marijuana-infused product means a topical formation formulation, tincture, beverage, edible substance, or similar product containing marijuana and other ingredients intended for human consumption. Marijuana microbusiness means a person licensed to cultivate not more than 150 marijuana plants, process and package marijuana, and sell or otherwise transfer marijuana to individuals who are 21 years of age or older, or to a marijuana safety compliance facility, but not to other establishments. Marijuana processor means a person licensed to obtain marijuana from marijuana establishments, process and package marijuana, and sell or otherwise transfer marijuana to marijuana establishments. Marijuana retailer means a person licensed to obtain marijuana from marijuana establishments and to sell or otherwise transfer marijuana to marijuana establishments and to individuals who are 21 years of age or older. Marijuana secure transporter means a person's license to obtain marijuana from marijuana establishments in order to transport marijuana to marijuana establishments. Marijuana safety compliance facility means a person licensed to test marijuana, including certification for potency and presence of contaminants. Person means an individual, corporation, limited liability company, partnership of any type, trust, or other legal entity. Process or processing means to separate or otherwise prepare parts of the marijuana plant and to compound, blend, extract, infuse, or otherwise make or prepare marijuana or concentrate or marijuana-infused products. State license means a license issued by the department that allows a person to operate marijuana establishments. 855.03-prohibition. Any and all marijuana establishments as defined in this ordinance are prohibited within the geographic boundaries of the City of Lincoln Park pursuant to Section 6.1 of the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act of 2018 and to the fullest extent allowed by law. 855.04 repealer. All ordinance or parts of this ordinance in conflict herewith are hereby repealed only to the extent necessary to give this ordinance full force and effect. 855.05, survivability. If any section, clause, or provision of this ordinance shall be declared to be unconstitutional, void, illegal, or ineffective by any court of competent jurisdiction, such section, clause, or provision declared to be unconstitutional, void, or illegal shall thereby cease to be part of this ordinance, but the remainder of the ordinance shall stand and be in full force and effect. 855.06 effective date. This ordinance shall take effect immediately upon passage and publication as required by law.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, discussion?
Yeah, Your Honor. Couple of things. I'm going to bring up what I've already brought up in the past real quickly because we've already been over it. The voters voted for this not once, but twice, overwhelmingly in Lincoln Park. We are a city that is in desperate need of some tax money. This could bring us some tax money. We have over 200 empty buildings in Lincoln Park that could be suitable for these type businesses. And it's a brand-new industry that if we turn this down and don't even bother to look at it at all, they're going to be looking other places. So you say we can go back and look at it later, but by that time, the industry is going to be looking in other places. They're going to be established. They're not going to want to come here. And lastly, I'd like to bring up the, and I would like to thank you for your openness after the last vote, that you did talk, you have decided you're going to put together and look at the issue more. And I think we should wait till we get that information and not vote on this until that time. So I would like to table this and wait for that information and to hear back from that committee.
Through the chair.
So
He's got a motion.
So are you moving to table this?
Yes, I'm moving to table this.
Okay.
It's a support. No support.
I agree.
Is that a support?
What,
Are you supporting it?
Yes.
Not debatable. Call the roll on the motion.
okay. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, a motion
Motion
has
to
been
table.
made to table this.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Breeding,
No.
Kelsey,
No.
Parkinson already voted. Ross
No.
and Mayor Carnes.
I'm actually going to vote yes to table.
Okay. That's a tie vote, and tie votes fail.
Okay, so the
motion to table failed.
Table failed, so is there further discussion?
Yes, I'd like to bring something up if I could, Your Honor.
Yes.
When this come up, I asked for some recommendations from the chief of the police, the assistant city attorney, and the building official. And those recommendations were all sent to council, including myself. And those were part of the reasons why the issue is that we're waiting until the state gets its house in order, so to speak. We asked for what the police recommendation was and the assistant city attorney, if we go down this road before we get a little bit more clarification. And to paraphrase it, they suggested we wait until we get more clarification from the state. And I know everybody got them because I got them too. So, and they're a matter of, you can Google them or get them from the city manager, but I just want to make that point. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Clarification, I voted to table this because, in essence, it would accomplish what I was going to, wouldn't come back again until that January meeting, and then we wouldn't have to publish all this, but I should have thought of that before. Further discussion?
Through the chair,
Yes.
I agree with Councilperson Higgins that the state has taken too much control of this city for a long time. I trust the state about as far as I can throw the Mackinac Bridge. All it says in this thing is the state shall, the state shall, the state shall, the state shall. It says nothing that the city shall have the right to give a license or deny a license. So if you're asking me to give my vote to say the state of Michigan has control, never happened. Thank you.
Okay, is further discussion from council? Discussion from the audience? It's talking on a motion is limited to 3 minutes, so.
Hi, Joyce Murray. I just want to ask a question because the resolution you read was a lot of legal mumbo jumbo for us out here in the audience, and without having something to read, it's kind of hard to comprehend and take it all in. So I kind of know how you guys are all voting. I'm assuming it's all going to be the same as last time, but my question is, does this prohibiting, since if it passes, it's going to prohibit the city from collecting the tax revenue that could be possible, does it include the prohibition from drugstores? Because we see the chain drugstores are now starting to sell marijuana-infused products and CBD-infused products. And we do have drugstores in the city where their companies are taking advantage of that. So would that also limit them as well?
My understanding, they would have to be licensed through us in order to allow that. And that, to have the city attorney chime in. But I think that the establishment is in the city of Lincoln Park, and if we decide to opt out with this, then chain drugstores, whether it be Walgreens, will not be allowed to sell the marijuana.
And Your Honor, that would depend on the composition of whatever those three letters are that are inside. If the active ingredients are missing, they're allowed to sell it. The chief and I could give you a more detailed response on that.
And we read through, as I was listing, there were certain items that were still allowed to be sold. So as long as that fit in with what we have listed here, and you'll need to go on to to see the ordinance itself, to see what those
Your Honor,
are.
if I may not to belabor it either, that the not Crate and Barrel, Bed Bath & Beyond is selling, and it's featured on the back page of it, and it's transmitted to the U.S. mail, and it's prohibited by federal law to sell things with active ingredients of THC or cannabis in it. So I would presume that what is being sold in the drugstores is not violation of any federal statutes. And I indicate that the chief and I will get back to you further if we're incorrect, but that would be 2 or 3 federal violations there for Bed Bath & Beyond, irrespective of their $20 off coupon.
So we don't have one of them yet, so.
Just indicating that's the one I saw today, came in the mail today, and
Okay.
I would just, like to make sure if that's what we're doing is, going to prohibit the sale of it, that we include that in whatever resolution you guys pass, because if we're not allowing the city to make a tax revenue off of it, I don't know why we would allow a drug chain to make profits off of it when we won't allow sitting.
Under what I read, there's a certain derivative that, or certain things that can be sold. Okay, but it's not, it doesn't have the active ingredients in that, and I would have to go back through until you specifically.
So it's just something to, look into if we do pass this tonight, that you can go back and amend it if need be. So I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that.
Yeah,
Your Honor, through the chair, if I may. I want to bring us back in time a little bit, that we used to have a city ordinance, and I'm sure that the older members here will remember, preventing fireworks from being sold in our community. However, the state allowed, it was exactly what we're saying. The state was allowing chain stores to sell them, so our ban meant nothing, and we lost out on revenue on that as well.
Through the chair, again. Everybody's saying seriously, we got all these empty buildings, all these empty buildings. The ordinance was for adult entertainment type businesses. They all gotta be on Industrial Drive. So this is not gonna help empty buildings whatsoever. It's gonna fill everything up in Industrial Drive.
Okay, there was someone else from the audience, I think, was coming up.
Chris Tarzinski, I really agree with Councilman Parkinson on this about the language, the state shall, the state shall, the state shall, just another law where the state shall do this and do everything. Interesting enough, because I'm usually the person that pushes economics, but there's something that just goes beyond economics, and that is if there's a true benefit to the community. And I think that gets back to when there was the limitations on the growing facilities and all that. So this would be equivalent to being parallel to that. Economics is, for a city like this, is niche retail, nightlife, and restaurants. But this, I see no community benefit. I wish I could quantify and evaluate that better in 3 minutes, but I cannot. Just no community benefit. But right, the state shall, the state shall, the state shall. I get so sick and tired of that language. Thank you.
Okay, while this next gentleman is coming up and to answer Ms. Murray's question here, for the purpose of this act, the marijuana does not include A, the mature stalks of the plant, fiber produced from the stalks, oil or cake made from the seeds of the plant, nor any other compound, manufacture, salt, derivative, mixture, or preparation of the mature stalks except resin extracted from those stalks, fiber, oil, or cake, or any sterilized seed of the plant that is incapable of germination. B, industrial hemp, or C, any other ingredient combined with marijuana to prepare topical or oral administrations, food, drink, or other products. So there is the section that you can review later on that are what is allowed, and it may indeed be what those main business places are, or the chains are offering. Yes, sir.
Jason Barrett, Lincoln Park resident. I just wanted to reiterate that to counter the state shell that was been brought up, is that the statute, the legislation itself specifically gave powers to local municipalities. They're only using the state to come up with the regulations, but city council and township boards are the ones that get to decide which type, how many, and where they go. And I'm thinking that was done intentionally from the people who first pushed this. And for the tabling, I certainly appreciate the schedule that you set out for the survey committee and the coffees. I was just wondering why would it not make sense to table it when you're planning to investigate it further? And would there be any, I know you can't answer my question while I'm up here, but it just seems like waiting until January 6th of next year is a very long time, as Councilman Higgins pointed out. For example, if the state comes out with it in July, there's going to be a rush of cities that put sunset clauses in that are all might be changing the mind from opting out to opting in, and we might be too late for the investors that will go elsewhere. And us being late in our vote, I would think, is a chance for an opportunity to take advantage of other cities around us who have opted out and just simply not opting out just sends the signal that, yeah, we're open to this, but still nothing's going to happen until the state fulfills their duties of the licensing and registration. And that's all. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Okay, anything further from the audience? All right, then clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Higgins?
No.
Parkinson?
No.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay. Next item is resolved that the accounts and claims payable for those items greater than $25,000 be approved as follows. Downriver Utility Wastewater, May 2019 excess flow, $73,764. DTE, April 2019 streetlights, $38,171.41. April 2019 gas and electric, $18,963.84. And this next item was check release for due date. And it's April 2019 gas and electric for DTE at $4,163.54 for a total to DTE of $61,298.79. GFL Environmental, May 2019 dumpster and curbside collection, $117,135.95. Hennessy Engineers Incorporated, CDBG Sanitary Sewer, $445. John Paplas Drive Marathon, $204.60. General Consulting, $580.14. Emmons Resurfacing, $756.80. Goal Avenue and Monty Avenue Recon, $792. Taco Bell Review, $138.60. Saw Grant, $18,848.62. Saw Grant Safeway Transport, $7,089.94. Hoover School, $5,678.34 for a total to Hennessy Engineers Incorporated of $34,534.10. McKenna Associates, April 2019 Building Department Services and Permits, $70,439.55. I'll move on this.
Support.
Discussion?
Question, Hoover School, could you explain why we're involved in, or what that's paid for, that $5,000?
So the Hennessy, when they handle the plan reviews for the different projects like that, there's escrow funds that are held here. So those are actually paid from the escrow funds. The school sent us a check, I believe it was about $32,000. So Hennessy provides them all of the costs up front, the estimated costs, and then we track it. For the engineering ones, we track them in finance. If it's a building escrow, then those go through the building department.
So basically, through the chair, basically what happened is they paid money up front. We let them, or Hennessy did the work, which does it for us, and then we withdrew money out of the account to pay them for what out of their money that they actually had. They
Correct, and
deposited.
if there's any funds left over, we refund it. There's a $400 plan review fee that's non-refundable, so we're just kind of passing the cost of that on to them.
Okay, I wasn't sure that, through the chair, that the city got involved in too much from the school because of that separation. That's why when I seen that, I was
It's only
kinda surprised.
because Hennessy has to do the engineering plan reviews.
All right.
Same with the Taco Bell one, that one's the same way.
All right, thank you. That's all I had, Your Honor.
Okay. Further discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Mayor Carnes?
Yes.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Breeding? Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
And Parkinson.
Yes.
Reached the time for our city manager's report. Mr. Copler?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I'm handing out a document for your review. Pass that down. So this is the updated memorandum of understanding with the Lincoln Park Chamber of Commerce for Fantasyland. And we are working our way to get it in front of you for final approval.
Thank you.
And it could come as early as June 3rd, so I wanted to get this into your hands so you can start reviewing it. And if you have any questions, either between now and June 3rd or for that night, you can start thinking about those. It's very similar to what we had in the past. Some of the changes are, this will be for a 10-year period with an additional extension of 10 years upon mutual consent. Section 2 is rewritten, and what this does is there's a lot of confusion, I think, historically about who owns what. And rather than having the fight, I thought we would both be responsible for ownership of the items. That way, us being partners, we would all have say in what ultimately happens. And so if for some reason the city wants to get out of this, we would sell our rights to the displays to them for $1. If they want to get out of it, they sell their rights to us for $1. That way, nobody can say it's theirs. We're clearing up that misunderstanding that who owns it. We both own it. And I think it makes sense from the standpoint it guarantees, or should hopefully guarantee, the longevity of this, so no one can take their ball home if they get upset and not play anymore. One of the things that the chamber, and that came out of a number of different discussions even before we started rewriting this about who owned it. Section 3 was changed to allow for, because the chamber was concerned that we would start charging them for the space. And we put in there that we won't charge you for that because, again, this is a partnership. However, I wanted to reserve our right if for some reason electric costs, went up 100%, I think we should have the right to go back and say, you are making money off of this, so you do need to reimburse us for these significant cost changes that happened since we signed it. And I think really the last part of this that is significant is Section 8, which is the termination. And so this gives the right for both parties to terminate this agreement, but you have to do that, either party would have to do it prior to June 30th. That way, if the city were to say, we no longer want you to be in the band shell, this gives them a few months to try to locate another location to house it. And if they get out of it, it gives us plenty of time to figure out how to actually put on Fantasyland without them. That effectively would trigger Section 2, which would be the dollar transfer. So again, not a complicated agreement. I think it addresses some of the longer-term issues that, since I've been here, has come up. It makes us both partners in this event, which is probably how it should always have been looked at, but differing viewpoints, I think, cause that not to be the case.
In essence, isn't that the way that it's been really operating, though, for the past several years?
I think that's how it's been operating, but I don't know if that's the mindset of the operation of it.
I gotcha. You don't need to discuss, you don't need
No,
to.
no, unless there's any questions right off the top, take time, let it sink in. If you have any questions, send them to me. We will have the chamber representatives here at the June 3rd meeting, so if you have any questions for them,
Through the chair, I just have one question. On the ownership of the property, because it's Christmas and it's the display, I know there's been other cities have been come up with, because they own Christmas displays. Is legally, are we okay to own that?
Well, I mean, you have non-secular things that are displayed also, so I think
Exactly,
that's.
secular, non-secular, as long as there's a balance.
Okay, I just want to make that.
They now allow prayer at council meetings, so they certainly would allow somebody that may have some various religious implements at an incremental Christmas
I
display.
think it's a
or
great thing
seasonal
for the
display.
city. I just want to make sure legally we're on.
I must say, that I'm just going to echo what Mr. Koppler read. I would review his agreement. I like the way that he keeps it in simple points. And in a lot of ways, he's better than a city attorney when he prepares here, so.
We can save some money. Oh, sorry.
Absolutely.
it's part of that value-added service. Second item on that that I have for tonight is Bobby Benzinski from Benzinski and Associates, of course, handles our financial dealings related to bonds. They have put the first road bond, which is a $6.7 million bond issuance. It was sold to BB&T, which is a bank out of North Carolina, at a rate of 3.5%. And if you remember the analysis that Mr. Bazinski had provided to us, the analysis was done at a 5%. So this is significantly lower than what the analysis did. He'll be getting me, I thought I'd have it already, and I kept looking to see if he sent it to me yet. But he'll have the new analysis that will show what the cost will be. The next step with this, once all the paperwork, the closing is going to happen on the 17th of June, will then be the calculations for the mill rates, and so we'll get all that out as well very shortly. But as soon as he gets me the new financials on it, I will send those out to everyone. But
What's your estimate of what that 1.5% would save us?
600,000 to 700,000 over the life of that. Because if I'm not mistaken, the 5% analysis was about $2 million of interest, and so this will probably be about 1.2 to 1.4 in interest. So
Pretty significant.
yes, it is. If we could, sell the rest of them at this rate or lower, we're doing pretty darn good. We are going to be trying to get the next issuance, which will probably happen in about a year and a half. We'll try to get that a rating, actually. For more likely, the rating that we would receive, had this been public offering with a rating, we'd have probably been somewhere around 3.1%. So again, that's a significant savings over the 10 years of paying this off. So we're going to be trying that for the next issuance. And you've been approving the road project, so you know that we're moving forward. And those will start by the end of June. We did just receive today, and I'll get out to everyone tomorrow, the latest county properties list subject to foreclosure. It is somewhat smaller than what we sent out the last time, which I think was about 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. It's not the final list. We'll get the final list sometime right around July 1st, and that's when we'll take it out to see how we're going to handle the tax foreclosed property sale. Last Saturday, GFL completed the curbside special pickup, we believe, for the flood. We believe that'll be the last one that we'll be doing. So we'd had done 3 at that point. I don't have the numbers. Again, that was something I was hoping I'd get before this meeting. I have not received that. But leading up to last Saturday, we had collected about 500 ton of materials in those 2 days of pickups. We're thinking that it's probably a lot less than the average that we were seeing. It'll probably be somewhere around probably less than 100 ton was collected on Saturday, but we will have that as well as the final cost for that.
If people have things that they still need to get rid of, is there a
Yeah,
way for them to take care
we'll
of
still
it?
be offering the ability during regular hours at the DPS yard to drop that off. And I need to follow up, make sure that if there's any direct calls to the GFL that can be done.
Okay.
So I'll have that tomorrow. The last thing I had is we're finalizing everything with the assessing office. Unfortunately, we were unable to hire the person that we were going to be hiring. We're now going through the process, finalizing hopefully in the next day or so, completion of the background and everything. The assessor as well is going through all the final background checks. The agreement has been put together for his employment as an employee of the city, and so we're just waiting for finalization that he's passed everything, and I hope to have that within the next day or so, and he'll he is kind of overseeing things from a distance, but we hope to have him in the office here very shortly. I've been working with the City of Melvindale and their administrator on the service agreement. I think we should have that in their hands before the end of this week, and I hope to have that to council for review the first meeting in June and approval aimed at the second meeting in June. So, and that's all I had prepared for tonight. If there's any questions, I'll try to answer those.
Okay, hearing none, then we will move on to department head report. It's CDBG and Parks and Recreation. So we have the director, Doreen Christian. Doreen?
Good evening. I'll keep this kind of short. It's been a long day already. I'm going to start with CDBG. You all know that we received our allocation amounts. We're in the midst of doing the annual action plan now. As soon as is available, it will be put online because they have to have a 30-day public review. I will definitely let you know when it goes online so you can look at it and see if you see anything that I miss when we proofread it, but it will be a draft copy at first. The 883 Monty is almost done. It will be going out for sale, yes, very shortly. They just have a few little tweaks to do on it that John found when he did his final. And then I'm just getting a little bit more done on 1534 Wilson. We'll put that out to bid. And once that goes out to bid and we're ready to go, I'll start working on 1922 Ann. I'm getting very good at writing scope of works for renovating houses. Never thought that was going to be part of it, but it is. The playground equipment at Quant Park. They called me to install it today, which of course I'd said no. If they drill down, all they're going to hit is water after all that rain we had. They didn't realize we had as much rain as we did. So they will be getting in touch with Dave Logan and keeping in touch with them as soon as it's ready to go. They will come out and we'll have that installed, and then I'll order the mulch to get that going. I was talking to HUD today, and we are now 53.76% low mod for citywide. Being that said, that doesn't give us carte blanche to use our CDBG funds anywhere within the city. Certain things, it does. So we're going to have to do it on a case-by-case basis. One of the things I did find out that we can cover now is our splash pad. So if we need extra funds for that, we can do that with CDBG funds now because we don't have one. We don't have a swimming pool. It's the only thing in the city. It would be citywide, so it would fall under that specific thing that it never did before. So that would be to our advantage in that respect. I talked with some of the members of the Parks and Rec Commission, and we're going to go park by park, year by year, CDBG funds. We're going to look to see what we can do in the different areas to bring our parks back up to par where they need to be, get rid of the broken things, try to get it back up into where we need them to be, and hopefully we can do it step by step. And that's all I have for right now.
Is there anything for Doreen?
I have a question through the chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Doreen, has the old playscape been taken out yet?
Yes.
It has.
Yes,
okay.
the DPS was the one who took the old playscape out, made sure everything was level. I want to make sure the right playscape was removed and not all of it. So that was done. It's all leveled. There is no mulch in the area. That's all been removed. The DPS will also be the ones who gets rid of the trash, but we do have the installer putting the equipment in because it's, in the long run, it was cheaper for us to have an installer do it than take our men away from the other things they need to do, like cold patch. It was only $1,000 more because you have to have 2 certified playground installers there, even on a community build. So it was only $1,000 more for them to do the whole deal. And I thought with our DPS being where they were, they needed to be where they're at, and we'll take it out of the funds.
It reminded me of, somebody had called talking about the Lions Park and that the large tube that the kids slide down, that there's a large crack in it. and that there is another piece of where the walking areas are, where they step from point to point, where the top is broken off. Would you have
We've been
somebody-
taking those off as they've been breaking them. It's so hard when you have something like that and the older kids just love to destroy this stuff.
But their concern was that the stake or the support for the top of
That's
that
supposed
was
to have
still-
been, okay, I will have the DPS informed about it, and I'm sure they will have somebody out there tomorrow to take care of it.
Appreciate that.
On the way of the slide, I will pull the information, because I had it, because CDBG paid for that originally, and we'll see what the replacement cost of the slide. I'll go out there and see exactly which one it is.
I appreciate that. Anything further for Doreen? Thank you if you would stay through citizen communications, at which point it is that time.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Richard Kudrak. Governmental transparency is one of my concerns. I'd like to discuss 3 observations I made where I thought things could have gone differently. I printed the May 6th agenda on May 6th. Had 12 action items. When I show up in City Hall, I find out, golly gee, it's got 15 action items. Items 14 and 15 were appointments to the Compensation Commission. Didn't know who that was, so I asked. Compensation Commission sets the salary for the elected officials. Went online looking for the Compensation Commission. They weren't there. Nowhere could I find the Compensation Commission. Sent an email. Now it's on the website. I think the commission that sets your salary should not be the one missing from the website. The school superintendent came to a city council meeting to drum up support for the school bond issue. Gave a very nice presentation. At the end of his presentation, he was asked how much interest would be charged for the $61 million bond issue. And his answer was grossly unacceptable. The answer was $43 million. I knew it. I've told you folks about it. Now, I know he didn't want to say $104 million bond issue, but when you're asked a question in a public meeting from a public official, I expect you to give the correct answer. He said 10 million. That wasn't it. It was 43. Anyway, all you folks got elected in November. The first meeting in January, there was a proposal for reinstating in retiree health care. First thing I'll tell you is all the retirees got screwed when the emergency manager took away your health care. I understand that. I didn't have a problem with it being reinstated. I did have a problem with it being reinstated with no previous discussion. I had no idea this was coming up for a vote until I printed the agenda and read the packet. When we're talking about $1.2 million or more of taxpayer money, I think there should have been a little bit of public notice. I don't think people would have been upset. He should have never taken away your health care, and giving it back was not a biggie. But the way it was done, I considered it unacceptable. Thank you.
My name is Duchesne, and I live in Lincoln Park. And I would like to bring up how rainwater in the streets gets into our sanitary sewer system again. They were supposed to have been separated years ago. In our Downriver paper, May 5th, our city manager said, "So far, it appears as though everything is functioning properly within our system. Yet I heard 500 basements got sewer water in them." As the city found out what happened, when Mayor Kraus had a town hall meeting at the BFW, I suggested the city have a town hall meeting about how our two sewer systems work. When Bobby, who ran the public service department, I asked him how many pump stations we had in Lincoln Park. He said 5. Now I hear we have 9. When the other 4 came about, I don't know. Through the chair, what is the difference between a lift station and a pump station?
I can't give you the exact thing, but we have our Department of Public Service Director, Mr. Kazoo.
Good evening. The difference between a pump station and a lift station, a pump station is actually doing that. It is pumping the water down a pressurized pipe to the next location. A lift station is actually taking the sewage or taking the volume from a lower elevation, raising it up to a higher elevation and sending it out at a higher elevation pipe, which will then run by gravity downstream. So one is a pressurized system and the other one is still a gravity system. But you're bringing it up to a higher elevation, then allowing gravity to carry it away.
Now, the pump station, where does that pump the water to? Is that the big sewer system we just bought off of the county?
I'm not sure if I understand your question, but I think where you're going or what you're asking is when our system is surcharged, it goes to two main pump stations. Those two main they're actually lift stations, and they lift it to a higher elevation, then transport it to our retention basin. Was that your question?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, John.
I always thought the pump stations pumped the sewage to the downriver interceptor to the sanitary sewer treatment plant in Wyandotte, which the downriver communities just bought off of the county. I heard many different stories about basements and streets flooding through the years. A town hall meeting about our sewer systems would answer all these questions. It would be open to all with no restrictions like a city council meeting is. I hope other citizens, especially those who had sewage in their basement, join me in trying to get a town hall meeting about our sewer systems. When they had the budget tonight, by the time I got my some information together, the meeting was already over with. But I have the literature here. The general fund revenue, it says taxes 43%. Now taxes, I guess they mean city property taxes. And then general fund expenditures, they have all the different items there. And it says retirees and pension is 37%. That's 85% of our property taxes is going to the pension and retiree systems. I guess they deserve it. But in the future, I think there's going to be more retirees going up, so there'll be less money from our taxes, property taxes, going into the general fund. And don't forget to bring your scrap paper to the bins on Cleophas behind the library. Thank you.
Jason Bear. I'm a member of the Lincoln Parks and Rec Commission. First of all, it was great to hear that the road bond had the first issuance. I do recall back in 2015, I believe, when we voted on it, and I, like many citizens, probably had no idea what was going on with it. So it's great that the city is continuing down, trying to fix up our roads and make our city a true downriver destination. And for anyone here in the audience or watching on TV, if you would like to become a member of the Parks and Recs Commission, we have vacancies and we could use people. Please contact City Hall, the website, Residents of Lincoln Park Facebook page. Our parks is such an important part of our vital community and city, not only to serve our citizens, but when people from other cities come to our cities through various sporting events and such, that is what they see, what kind of condition our parks are in. And like the director Durian said, we do have a little bit of an uphill climb when it comes to improving them. And I just like to make sure that for future resource allocations, that make sure that improving the parks is on your mind and on the list, so to speak, of things that can help the city move forward. Thank you.
Chris Darzinski. The next Hands of the City event being put on for the community of Lincoln Park is the Downriver Comic and Collectors Show. This is our 4th annual one, June 1st and June 2nd, 10 to 6 on Saturday, 10 to 3 on Sunday. Adults, $7. Family rate, $15, and if you get a $2 off coupon, that's $13, and that's 2 adults and 5 kids. You cannot get 5 kids out of the driveway for $13. And remember, after we pay for janitors and maintenance at the high school, all proceeds go back to the school district to help with their athletics department. And we enjoy doing that. Please come out and support this event. We sure want to see 2,000 people come through the door, so keep on sharing that poster on Facebook, please. Thank yous for the Memorial Day Parade. Extraordinary that we got this one off. A lot of challenges, but we rose above all of them. The police department for keeping the entire city safe and the parade route safe. Their job is endless, and the details are endless. DPS, thank you again for everything that you do above and beyond the scenes. The fire department, VFW Post 552, the Exchange Club, fabulous job on the field of flags. Mike Horvath left me a nice 30-foot by 40-foot notch for our canopies, and our grandstand area just looks better and better every year. Community Improvement Commission, especially Kimberly Comer, who runs that commission for the Saturday Park cleanup. CERT, everything CERT does. Could not run the parade without CERT. Hands of the City volunteers, Mike Higgins, Jane Hagan, Tim Hagan. Tim Hagan, he's a 25-year mechanic. He also pulled the float out of DPS for me this year, checked the hitch, pulled all the wheel hubs and greased them all up and did all that. He's a professional mechanic. That takes him 2 hours. If I would have had to do it myself, would have taken 8 hours, I guarantee you. Sean Stansberry took a vacation day from work, repainted the entire float this year. A lot of work on that. Dave Gentry, Jerry Pavlovich, Jimmy Cargill, Jen Smith, Cliff Eberts, Kathy Cooley-Lyle, Kathy Miller, Lita Tony, Gretchen Ross, Todd Jeffos, Rob Sawyer, Rudolph Mitchell, our DJ and sound guy, Lillian Ross, Tony Ross, Andy Ross, Joyce Murray, Dan Murray, Jason Baer, Annette DiMaggio, Joe Kaiser, Don Belinsky, Jim Bowens, 9 months working on this parade. Nobody even knows about it. He remains a loyal friend. What a great guy for sticking in there with me. Cherie Cancella, Scott Papp, the barmaids at the VFW, they take our posters, they pass out stuff for me. I love them so much, the little things they do behind the scenes. O'Reilly's Auto Parts, who came through for us in the biggest of way, I can't even tell you, on Parade Day. Motor City Graphics, thanks again for helping us with the last-minute poster. Last but not least, Lynn Dillon, a lady I work with, who consistently for 4 years supplies me with coffee cans for our raffles and everything, and make sure that I have enough Harbor Freight coupons so I can keep on buying stuff and getting the 20% off discount. And so many people, Lynn doesn't even, she takes them out of her dad's hands. She goes, "No, Dad, that's for Chris at work, so he can buy stuff for the parade." There's so many more people to thank. Samaritan's Purse. They helped out other people in Lincoln Park. Chief Martin talked about them. They helped us out in a big way. It's a great group, and they deserve you to Google them around and throw them some support if you can. And thank you very much.
Excuse me, Chris? Is there coupons available if you buy products from some places?
Coupons?
Then it's a $2 off coupon if you purchase something?
Oh, if you go to one of the comic book stores, there's other places around town where we have the Downriver Comic and Collector Show postcard coupons. There's a $1 off coupon on back for adults and $2 off for families. Mike Higgins might have some in his van. Thank you.
Just Mike.
Apparently Mike's van has everything. I'm Joyce Murray. So Chris just went off and named a bunch of people that helped out with the parade, but he's so humble that he always forgets that he does a lot of the work. So Chris, I want to say thank you, because you put in the hours and the days and the months and the years to make sure that these events get put on, and I don't think that you give yourself enough credit. So I want to say thank you from all of us. And we try to get Chris to walk in the parade.
Nice job.
We tried to get Chris to walk through the parade with us, you know, a couple of the volunteers, and he humbly refused. He said, I'm going to stay back and start the cleanup process. And, you know, I stayed back with him and a couple of the other volunteers while a couple walked. But just to let everybody know, Chris does a lot for the city, and he's constantly asking for volunteers. So if there's people out there that can just lend an hour, 2 hours, throw in some donations, contact Chris. You know, any support that he gets is very welcomed. So thank you.
Seeing no one else approaching, we'll move on to oral reports of the mayor and council. Council President Breeding.
I think he was going to get up.
Who was?
This gentleman here?
Is there anyone else wishing to address the council?
I apologize, I'm pretty new at this, but my
that's
name is
all
Scott Samanek, and I'm a Lincoln Park resident. I recently had a permit pulled to be able to have my concrete replaced in its entirety around my house. And I had 4 permits for it, 4 quotes. And nothing was mentioned of any ordinance violations or anything. My property was built in 1992, and I bought it in 1993. And upon trying to get the forms approved for the city inspection, the city inspector, or the building inspector, said that I had a couple of violations for ordinances. One was my driveway was 12 feet wide, and it's only supposed to be 10 feet wide with a 46-foot frontage. And I wouldn't have had it all taken out if I'd have known that you couldn't put it back in the same. And I had a couple of small items that I wanted to add on to it also. Along the side of my house there, I had structure damage where I had to replace the porch last year where the dirt eroded around my porch there from a small space that's between my house and the driveway that was dirt. And at any rate, I replaced the porch, and I was in the process of trying to do the rest of the repairs necessary this year and replace any broken concrete. Last year, I replaced 3 city sidewalks, squares. But at any rate, after he mentioned the 12-foot rule, he did some more looking, and he told me that he thinks that I was possibly above the 40% rule. I wasn't aware of any of these rules, and my contractor didn't mention any of them. I was fully honest about what I wanted to have done. He went down and got the permit. I've got a copy of the receipt here. Everything was, I thought, was going smoothly until I went to get ready to pour. I was going to have the concrete poured the next day, and the city inspector stopped the job. So what I'm asking for, I've got documentation here to show you that there was concrete there. He made statements that he didn't think that, he thought we made it wider and so on and so forth. That's not the case. I got a survey here of the original property document from 1993 when I bought the property. And I do have some documentation here. If you'd like to review it, I can bring it up to you. But I'm asking for a variance to allow me to put my concrete back in around my house. It's been gone for almost 3 weeks now. I got a handicapped dog, and I can't get him in and out the doors. He weighs 140 pounds. I got to get this resolved.
With Mr. Myers, the building official, the department head for that?
I called and I left a message for the building official. Also, I called and tried to get information from the two building techs, but I didn't get any response. I left a message for the building official.
Mr. Myers?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, Mr. Myers is in the back of the room in green. You get with him after you get off of the podium there, and he'll schedule a time when you can meet with him and go over that.
Okay.
It's not within our area of expertise to go against what the zoning requirements are, but there are procedures that are set up to where that can happen either through the Zoning Board of Appeals. I understand that you don't have your driveway out and such, but meet with Mr. Myers and see what can be done, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else? That's okay, so we will move on to the oral reports of the mayor and council president Breeding.
I want to compliment everyone who participated and helped put on the parade. It was very nice. The ceremony afterwards was beautiful. And God held off the rain until everyone was home and the sun was shining and it was a little bit windy, but it was a beautiful day, and I want to thank everyone who came out and put up their chairs and was on 4th Street, and everyone who participated. It was a very nice event, and that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Ross.
Thank you, Your Honor. First thing is, I hope our resident that I spoke to at the parade on Duplex is watching, because I didn't get his email or phone number, but I got his address, and I wanted you to know that I forwarded your request, and they are working on it. I was told that it's a little time-consuming, so if you email me at lross@citylp.com, I can give you more information as I get it. Matt, the Dangerous Buildings Board on the website, they don't have minutes posted there. There's nothing for this year, last year. There's actually nothing there since January 2017. So, and that's where I was looking to get information on the ones that were on our agenda. And then, okay, so if you haven't heard, the Thursday night summer concert series is kicking off June the 6th. So keep your Thursday nights open. And I would like to thank the Historical Museum. They did a beautiful annual Memorial Day bell ringing ceremony on Saturday that Councilman Kelsey and I attended. If you ever get the chance to attend one, I certainly recommend it. It's very, very touching. I also want to thank all the parade volunteers, the participants. It was wonderful, and I think there were actually more residents watching this year. It just seemed like we had more on both sides of the street. And of course, a very special thank you to Chris Darzinski, because certainly it can't be easy wrangling us all up to do what needs to be done. Thank you to our veterans, of course. And happy Memorial Day. Be safe.
Thank you, Councilman Higgins.
Thank you, Your Honor. Since Councilman Parkinson brought it up, I'll let you know, I have a coupon right here that I will give you after the meeting.
Can I get a burger?
I will get another one for you too, sir. The Comic-Con has already been mentioned. First weekend in June, it's the 1st and 2nd. It is the biggest, now the largest comic convention downriver. It is a true destination, and it's bringing people in. And we have some very special things happening this year that have not happened before. All 4 of the major comic book shops in the area will be there. And the Jedi Council will be there. And for those who don't know who the Jedi Council are, they will be there, and they will have robots there that you would swear are the true robots, R2-D2, C-3PO from the movies. They are that good, and they will be wandering around the gym. So please come and talk to R2-D2. It's fun. And again, all the money goes to sports in Lincoln Park. The high school in Lincoln Park, the Lincoln Park schools are one of the only schools left downriver that allow the kids to participate for free, and this helps to pay for that. Second, of course, I would like to once again thank everybody who had anything to do with the parade this year. Everything ended up being just wonderful. The weather was great. Everything went off. It looked like it went off without a hitch, but believe me, there was a lot of stuff backstage getting things ready, and a wonderful job. And I don't know, never heard Tom's name mentioned. Thank you for having our float pulled, Tom, and thank all the other council members who showed up, and thank the veterans for all that they've done. And it's been said many ways and many different things, all the great things that John Dingle has done, not just for our district, but for our country, and was a true honor to be able to give him a flag and thank his family for all that he has done and to name the parade after him. The whole country knew John Dingle as Big John. But the people who knew him best knew that they didn't call him Big John because of his size. It was because of the size of his heart. And once again, I just want to say thank you to him and his family. And that's all for tonight, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Councilman Kelsey.
Thank you. I'll keep it kind of brief. Everybody's made the comments about the parade, which was fantastic. Chris let me drive my Mustang, and I'm not going to park it at your house. It's in my garage, but nice try. And it was well attended, and it was just a nice parade. The weather held off, like Councilwoman Brady said, because it was looking bad for a while. Worked out perfect. And again, everybody, it took a lot of people to put that on. A lot of them were unpaid volunteers, and it shows you there are a lot of people that help do things in this city. And as we go on, and the Comic-Con coming up, that's another big thing. There's a lot of groups here. If you're sitting back at home and you're typing in on that wonderful thing we call Facebook, and you're looking at, this and that, step up. Not everybody's working 25, 30 hours a day. You can get out and do a little bit. And I think it shows you when people get together, and you don't have to spend a lot of time out, like was mentioned. I think Joyce mentioned an hour here, or whatever. But, when you get involved in a community, it shows. I mean, you can tell the difference. And that is very well from when I first came back to this community when I was in a different city. It's progressed quite a lot in the last couple of years. And it's very nice to see that. I will have to thank Mr. Parkinson's brother-in-law for driving, even though we drove a Chevy. You did a nice job. I will give you that credit. How's that? But that was all I had to say, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Councilman Parkinson.
Yeah, it was a very nice parade, except I had to follow a Ford in the parade. The weather held off very nice for us. And I also saw a lot of people out there. I think it was a little bigger this year. Fantasyland is a downriver icon. Everybody goes to Fantasyland. People from other cities come in. So we need to do anything we can to keep Fantasyland going strong. Around Hoover School, Larry, have you noticed that if the trucks have been going down one street instead of driving all over the place lately? Has that been taken care of?
Through the chair, if I could respond to
Yes,
that.
go ahead.
Yes, they are. They're keeping it, the school is really keeping a good eye on making sure everything's done right, to answer your question. I haven't seen them go anywhere but the one way.
I know a few weeks ago they were scattered around. And Chief Martin, the only question I forgot to ask you was, on the storm sirens, you got the one working. Are you looking at a grant about buying more? Because there's a lot of the city that,
Sorry.
So they're both working.
correct.
Yep.
He was asking if they're looking for grants for purchasing additional.
Mr. Koppler, were you still looking at, I know at one point we were looking for, that there might be the possibility of grants for,
Through FEMA. Yeah, actually, behind the scenes, Chief Martin has been collecting different quotes for upgrades to the system, so we have those now, and we'll be looking at the timing for the next grant round.
Because I think two's a little light for the city of this size.
the ones that we've been getting, they've kind of been, they've been coming back 2 or 3. actually. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be much more than that, but they do some kind of GPS mapping, and they've been coming back about 2 or 3.
Well, you have those people come sit in my family room, and I'm not that far away from Hoover School,
Right.
and I never hear it, unless I'm sitting on my porch. I'll
Did you
hear it.
did you hear it when we set it off on the 4th? Okay.
No, everybody around, as they were outside, everybody heard it but me. If you're sitting inside the house, you don't hear it.
Okay.
No, that's all I have tonight.
All right,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Chief. Please remember, tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the band shell, 3240 Ferris, the Community Policing Blood Drive. They will like you to come down there. I think that there'll be a number you can call for an appointment, but just make sure to stop on in for the life you save may be your own, I guess, as they say. And lastly, again, our thanks on behalf of everyone up here and our citizens of Lincoln Park. We appreciate those that have served their country, and especially we appreciate the sacrifices that those have made who have given their lives, that lived in our town, give their life for their country. As it is said, that freedom is definitely not free. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn at this point.
So move.
Support.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Parkinson,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Breeding,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes.